Hey y'all, it's your girl Key. And before we get into this interview that I did in Irvington, New Jersey, I just want to welcome all my new subscribers. Welcome to the Truth Sector. We say what we want, when we want, how we want, as long as it's the truth. We deal with the street sector over here. Contrary to what a lot of people believe, the street sector is not Atlanta Street Interviews. It's all channels that deal with street interviews. Okay? So I do a lot of things on this channel. We do raffles. We do a lot of exposing. Okay? And a lot of things that deal with the truth. And I also do interviews. A lot of people don't know that. So I wanted to get into an interview that I did a couple of months ago in Irvington, New Jersey. And I hope you guys, I hope you guys can appreciate it and enjoy it or whatever. And let me know what you think. So let's get into it. YouTube, I'm Keen. I'm back with another one. I'm sitting here with this beautiful woman right here. What's your name?
Monica.
Hey, Monica. How you doing today?
How you doing, man? I'm fine.
All right. How old are you?
51.
Nice. What's your nationality?
Black and Hispanic.
Do you have any kids?
Yes, 3, 2 boys and a girl.
Nice, nice. Where are you originally from?
Plainfield, New Jersey. That's where I was born.
All right. And how did you find your way in Irvington, New Jersey?
Well, I got from one of my charges, drug charges. I went to Edinburgh Correctional Facility, which is a women's prison, and I got paroled to my sister's house. And she had moved to Newark because she went to a program, integrity drug program.
Okay. And what kind of household did you grow up in?
Very dysfunctional. My father was a drug addict. He shot drugs, and he was abusive to my mother as well as us kids. So it was very dysfunctional.
Okay, so you did know your father. You grew up in a 2-parent home, even though it was dysfunctional.
Yes, my mother and my father they don't have any kids outside of
each other.
Right.
All the kids are between your mother and your father.
And my father, right.
Okay, so you would say besides the dysfunction, you grew up in a regular household, basically, right?
Regular household, mother, father. I never knew no other man to be in my house other than my father and my mother.
They did do good in that aspect.
Yes, yeah, I must say.
So were they hardworking parents? Did your father work? Did your dad work?
Well, he in his times of being clean, like being on methadone.
Right.
He did.
He did get clean.
He did work, and it was pretty okay in the house when he was on methadone, but it was always a sporadic. Right. He would be on methadone, and he would start back using, and like that.
So he battled addiction basically your whole life.
Right.
Right. I also had a father who battled addiction my whole life too.
Yeah.
Okay, so
actually, it's between my mother and my father. It was 4 girls and a boy, and when I was young, my mother had took us 5 kids out, and my brother is the youngest of the 3 girls. It's me, it's my sister Dawn, my sister Tanya, and me. Then my brother, then my little sister Michelle. My brother and my little sister was in the front seat because they was the babies, my mother, and we was in the back seat. Me and my 2 sisters. And back in the 70s, because this happened when I was 5. I was born in 72. My mother had left us in the car and ran in KFC to get the food. And my brother and my little sister was in the front. And my brother got in the glove compartment and got a hold of my father's methadone. And he drank some and gave my little sister some. And that night, my mother went to check on him, and they wasn't breathing. So since my brother was like, my little sister was about to be 2, and my brother, I think he was maybe like 4. They was able to save him, but my little sister passed away. Oh my God! Yeah, I had a lot of bad memories as a child because of my father addiction. So yeah.
Wow, Monica, you strong as hell. I'm gonna tell you that. That is something. Actually, wow.
My mother's strong.
She's definitely a strong woman.
And for her that she's the best mother because she never smoked cigarettes, she never drank, she never did drugs, she never did none of that. And for her to have met, for for her to have been with my father, who was such a, he was abusive. I remember my mother having black eyes when I was a child. My father always beating on her and us, and she was a good woman. I don't understand why she had to endure that.
But they say God gives the strongest soldiers, so she probably endured that. I'ma just say, because of her kids and her family, and you know how it was back. You know how it was back in the day. They wasn't really trying to divorce and all of that. Your parents met here or they met over there in Puerto Rico?
No,
They're from Puerto Rico?
Here. Yeah, my mother was born in Puerto Rico, but she came out here.
When she was young?
When she was young.
And so did your parents met out here?
Yeah.
Your dad, he was what, Spanish? Or?
No, my dad is black and my mother's Spanish.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. My father's actually an identical twin.
Really? Mm-hmm. How was his twin? Is this twin anything like him?
He was the one that got my father into it. My mother told me. Because she said my father was a good man when she married him.
Because she probably wouldn't have never married him if he wasn't.
He was in the service, right.
Wow, he was in the service?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a good guy.
He was a good man. She said his twin brother, was using, and she said, I guess your dad was curious, wondering why he was always nodding out,
Yeah. Okay, so, what's your drug of choice?
Heroin.
And how long have you been using heroin?
Off and on for about 30 years.
About 30 years? Yeah. Okay. So how old were you when you first tried?
About my 20s.
About your 20s?
Mm-hmm.
And what led you?
Actually, I thought me and I left home when I was 15. I got pregnant with my first son when I was 16, and I had him at 17. And at that time, I was living in Plainfield, and my son's godmother, Samora, I always hung out with her, and me and her was hanging out with two guys, and we thought we were sniffing coke, but it was actually a speedball. It was.
And what's a speedball?
It was heroin mixed with cocaine.
What?
And a bill. So that's actually how I first tried it.
And so how did you find out what it was? Because
I asked her, and she said they probably had a speedball, because at the time I didn't even know what it was.
Right.
But I said something to her the next day, like I said, that cocaine had me mellow, and cocaine usually had me up. And she said it probably was a speedball, and then come to find out later on, it was a speedball. It was a speedball.
From later on, trying it and then knowing that was the same thing I felt back then.
Right.
Wow. So that was basically the first encounter there of trying it.
I was young then.
Yeah, so how did you go about getting it after that?
Well, that was when I was like 18, and I didn't do it. I didn't
do
it after
right.
I didn't know nothing about it.
Right.
And when I was like 20-something, I don't even remember actually what age. I know I was in my 20s. I knew a lot of drug dealers in Plainfield, because they used to try to always talk to me and my sisters. And
Plainfield is like a suburban town in New Jersey, right?
No.
It used to be back in the day a little bit. They say it's a little hood now. You know what? When I think of Plainfield or whatever, and I think of down here, growing up down here in Newark or whatever, and I think of Plainfield was a little better. But now when I'm into Plainfield, people be like, it's ghetto there. It's hood.
Actually, Plainfield used to be the ones beefing with Newark at the skating.
Oh, wow.
It was always Newark and Plainfield. That was Plainfield.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you remember the beef?
Yes, I do remember how we used to be beefing up in there up at 22. That was the jump too back in the day.
Yeah. It's be Newark versus Plainfield.
All right, okay. Okay, so that was your first experience. Okay, so have you ever turned tricks to in this lifestyle? While you in this lifestyle, because that's the thing that most females can do to get money, right?
Right. Yeah.
How do you feel about doing that type of thing, that type of work?
Well, it's something that I just had to block out. You know what I mean? Because I figured I was doing it only because I was sick. You know
That's
what I mean?
right.
I wouldn't have done it
I know that's
for
right.
no other reason.
That's right.
You know, so I'm not saying that I use that as a justification for it, but you know, I don't look
But it
look
kind of
down on
is a
myself
justification for it because you only did it for that.
right.
So,
Yeah.
have you ever been on a type of date and it went wrong?
Yeah.
Like, can you share one of your experiences?
Well, one time I got a knife pulled on me, and he didn't have sex with me, but he made me give him oral sex.
Right.
That was one time. Then another time, the guy pulled a knife on me, and he paid me, but then afterwards he took it back. He robbed me.
That's exactly what that is, robbery.
Yeah.
Okay, have you ever been arrested? Of course, you told us earlier that you was arrested. What was your longest stint?
In most time.
Yeah.
18 months. 18. I had a 5 flat when I first got caught. My first drug charge, he gave me a 5 flat.
What's a 5 flat?
5 years.
Okay.
So you do with a flat, you your good time that you get, you work it down.
Oh, so okay. Oh, wow, that was good. That's like a year and a half.
Yeah.
From 5, that's really good.
But then you still get parole for the time. That,
oh, okay. So you still had to come home and do the time basically.
Right, right.
But still, that's still good. You had to be in the belly of the beast to do it.
Right.
Okay, so now knowing and going through the things that you've been through, if you could change anything, would you change something? And if you could, what would it be in your life? The things that you've been through.
Well, I believe that the reason why we turned out the way we did was because of my father.
Right.
Because if we wasn't
introduced to drugs, it starts in the foundation.
Right. If we wasn't introduced to it by him, we wouldn't have known. You know what I mean? Just like a lot of that's why my daughter, I had her down for Clinton when I was in prison.
Wow.
And she was raised by her father's sister, her paternal aunt. So nobody in that house get high. And I believe that, you know, even with all the resentment she had with her father and me for her being raised by her aunt, she don't get high. I believe that it starts like from
the foundation.
What you see, you know, what you see, and when you growing up,
I believe it too.
What you do.
I definitely believe it. So look, so you don't believe that, like a lot of people say, it's genetic. You don't believe that it's genetic. No. It depends on what the child was exposed to, what you grew up.
It's what you see. Because had we have been raised by my mother, and my mother don't do nothing,
right?
I don't think we would have did nothing.
You know, I had somebody tell me before, somebody who had been battling drugs 20 years, right? Somebody who I was dating or whatever, and he said to me that his best friend's father normalized that to them when they was young. Like, they used to come in the house sometimes and he would have the needle in his arm and he'd be out. They would take the tourniquet off his arm, take the needle out, and these are kids doing this, and they all ended up getting high later on in life. So he was saying, like, because his mom didn't get high. He was raised in a single parent home. His mother didn't get high or nothing, had him around nothing like that or whatever. Right. And he was like, he really feel like that his friend's father normalized that to them because now they all get high. Yeah. So I believe what you say when you say, like, it depends on what the child was exposed to.
Yeah, what you see.
Right.
Absolutely, because I don't ever recall taking the needle out of my father, but I can recall seeing blood in the bathroom. I can recall seeing him nodded out. You know,
yeah, I can recall that in my life as well.
You know, so
my life as well. Right. I never seen it per se, but I seen all of the effects of it firsthand.
Yes.
Right. Right. Okay. So now, do you have a message for anybody that's thinking of using or just started using? What would you say to somebody that just started using and don't really know what they're getting themselves into? Now, you somebody who's been battling this for a nice chunk of your life.
I would suggest that they try to get help and stop it, you know, nip it in the bud before it get too bad, because if you just starting it, like you probably most likely haven't really gone through anything, of where the drug takes you, because all your I don'ts becomes your I do's.
I heard that.
So I would suggest that they get help and get out of it and while early, instead of just, because it's gonna become something longevity. It usually always does. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because once you start it, it becomes it progresses. You become you start doing it and you start doing little, then it gets more and more.
Because like they say, it was a cheaper way. A lot of people who started off with doing pills, they say they switched over because it was a cheaper way. But I thought about it like it was a cheaper way at first, but then once you keep on going, it's no longer cheaper, because now you got to buy it by the bulk, right?
Right, and it progresses. If you started off with buying one pill ain't gonna get you high no more.
Right.
If you doing it, if you've been doing it,
right,
it's gonna take more. That's why they say
more,
it progresses.
more. It's more money, more
right.
money, more money.
And then you start looking for something stronger, maybe. You know what I mean?
Right. That's exactly what happens. That's
takes
exactly
the place
what happens.
of that. That's why they always say, don't substitute. Like if you're doing heroin and you trying to get off heroin by drinking, you just substitute. Then the drinking becomes a problem.
Right.
So
that's what a lot of people do.
Yeah.
They pick up something else, trying to stop doing whatever it is that they're doing. But you are right. That's just picking up even another habit.
Right. It's just substitute. That's all.
Okay, so now the last thing I just want to ask is if anybody wanted to donate to you in any kind of way, do you have a Cash App?
Yes.
Do you know it offhand? If you don't, don't worry. I'm gonna put it on the screen anyway. I'll get it from you later. I'm gonna get it from you right now as soon as we get off the camera, or whatever. So now, first I want you to say it. I want you to say it on the camera first. Okay. I'm gonna put it on the screen anyway, but I want you to say it on the camera, so that way they know it's yours, not mine.
Everybody knows you gotta put a $sign, right? So it's Mo.
Yeah.
Mo, capital MOE, Betta, capital BETTA.
Don't worry, I'm going to put it on the screen because I'm about to take it right here from your phone. I want to thank you.
1019.
1019. All right. I want to thank you, Monica. Thank you so much for helping us with this or whatever. And hopefully we get an update with you or whatever. A little in the future, all right? Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you, sweetie.
Wow, what a powerful story from Monica. I really enjoyed talking to her that day. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. And thank you for watching. Don't forget to give me a like. And my newbies, sum me up and give me a comment. Let me know what you think of this. Bye-bye.